G'day everybody, and welcome to we're up to part 6, yeah that'll do. Yeah, welcome to part 6 of the Team Associated B5M build series. In part 6 we will be assembling the ball diff. Now the ball diff, having a look over it, and don't get me wrong, Team Associated makes some pretty top-notch stuff. And you know, they are 27, what does it say on the box? 27 times IFMA world champion, so they do know a thing or two about making a car. But I'm a little disappointed with the thrust bearing assembly. It's the same carryover thing from 2003. You know, this is an 11-year-old. Really, the diff itself is an 11-year-old design. It's about time they change things up a little bit. But, you know, having said that, while my nagging is, or having a rant is merely about assembling the thrust bearing, as opposed to some other companies that have a thrust bearing that's like a, I guess you could call it like a sealed unit. But apart from that, that's just my biggest gripe about it. But anyway, so let's carry on. Now, in case you haven't noticed, I have kept the thrust bearing balls and the ball diff balls in the bags. The reason being, obviously they're tiny, and you know, you only have to cough, sneeze, or shudder or something, and you know, balls go flying. Balls go flying everywhere, and trust me, they're hard to find. I've lost some in the past. Anyway, so first of all, what we'll do is we'll get this is, I guess you would, well, this is the diff gear. So what we'll do is we'll get some diff grease. The Team Associated stuff's not too bad. Just put some around. Don't be sparing, but don't be liberal. You kind of want an in-between amount, like so. You probably can't see it too well, but you know, there's some there, but there's, you know, not a ton of it. Okay, so now we'll put the balls in. You know, and what we'll do is we'll get this, we'll put them in here. And like I was saying to you before, you got to be careful. As you just saw, or probably saw, some of them went flying everywhere. So that's why I'm saying keep them in the packets. Alright, so now let's put them in. Perhaps if I don't have butterfingers. So let's get them in there. The grease helps them sit. And sometimes it helps just to use your Allen driver. Just plop them in. This is a very, I guess you could call it tedious part. Okay, there it is. I knew there was a ball missing. Alright, so we'll just put that in. Like as I said, the grease will hold it in, but we'll just place it in the little tray there. Okay, so now, next part is the drive cups. Sometimes what I usually do as well, get a little bit of grease. Just put a little bit on the edges there. Just keeps the plate on the out drive Alright, so now put some grease around here. And of course it lands, as they say, butter side down. Is there any fur in there? No, it's all good. No hair in there. Alright, so that's that bit there. Again, do the same. You can use your fingers to do around. See, we got a towel. That's what it's there for. Okay, so now put that there. Now here comes the fun part, the thrust bearing. So we will get one of the washers and we'll just plop it there just for the moment. Alright, so very, very careful, and one of them just flies over there. Okay. Alright, so now what we'll do is we'll get some black grease. And don't have to put tons of it on, but we want to put enough on for the thrust bearing bowls to stick. Alright. It's real. Honestly, I really don't like this part. I know I'm going to be griping about it for a bit, but it's definitely not my favourite part of the build. Alright, we'll put that just on the pair of pliers there for a second. Now we'll put a decent amount of black grease on this next washer. And we will carefully slide it on. Alright. Just be careful. Make sure the balls don't pop out. So many double meanings. Alright. So we want it, if it focuses, we just want that's the assembled thrust bearing. Alright, so now what we'll do is we'll just put that there for the time. Oh, come on. Put it there for the time being. Alright, so now we'll just need some bearings. First of all, it also says in the instructions, of course I need the pliers, don't I? So I'll just put that there. It says to squeeze this spring, compress it. Alright, so that's compressed. This is to help with what that spring does is it helps adjust for the adjustment of the tension of the ball diff, so if you want it to almost lock or be real free. Okay, so now we need bearings. What we need, 5x8. So it's these fellas. Alright. So that one goes on there. There. Alright, so now what we will do is put the gear on, slide it over the bearing, and we'll put this one on. Okay. Now, oh dang it. Okay, now we have to pay attention to which side has the thrust bearing. So the part that doesn't have the little, that hold the cup that doesn't have the bearing holder on it, like that you slide it on, That's the part that has to have the nut. So that's this part, oh sorry, that's this part here, so that will go carefully into there. Now what we do, we put a spring in. My mistake. Spring, it's been a while since I've done one of these Associated ball diffs. Spring got to go in there first, my apologies. And then the nut. That's better. Alright, so we'll put that there carefully. Now with that screw, very carefully, possibly best to hold it by the thrust bearing so they don't move, and put it in. Alright, so with our 2mm driver, you'll feel it start to go tight. Just put that in there. Do it tight all the way, and just back, turn, and that's it. So now what we do, just to finish it off, let's put this cap over, press it in, and there it is, folks. That is an assembled ball diff. Pretty straightforward, but a bit fiddly. So stay tuned for part 7, where we will go ahead and assemble the transmission and the slipper clutch. Stay tuned, folks.